So let me give a more structured weekly plan on how these flipped classes can be conducted. So let's start with some assumptions. These assumptions may not be true for all institutes, but you can easily extrapolate. So for example, in IIT Bombay, each course is associated with 6 credits, and the general expectation is that 6 credits translate to 6 hours per week, which a student is supposed to spend on a given course. Of these 6 hours, the contact hours are 3 hours per week with the teacher, and the student is also expected to study on his own for 3 hours. This is of course in a traditional classroom. And let's assume that the class size is 60. So this is what is captured here. In a traditional classroom, in class with teacher is 3 hours. Study time at home is 3 hours. Now when you do flipped classes, you can effectively break the class into batches. So if you have 1 hour classes 3 times a week, you meet one batch of the student for this 1 hour. In other words, let's say Monday is 1 hour you have, Tuesday you have another hour, and let's say Thursday you have another hour. So in this hour you meet batch 1, in this hour you meet batch 2, and in this hour you meet batch 3. From the perspective of a student is only getting to interact with the teacher for only 1 hour, but the student gets 2 hours of virtual interaction with the teacher through the video material that the teacher is sharing. I should mention one thing here. If you want your students to spend 2 hours watching video, in effect, you should only give 80 minutes of a video. There is a 1.5x bloat factor. Why do you think it is? That's right, because all these videos are packed. There are no pauses due to interruption by students, board work and so on. And often when students watch video, they would like to pause, think and proceed at some medium pace. That accounts for this 1.5x bloat. So this is one model. You can have another model where you split the class half, that is the 60 is split into only 2 batches. Earlier you split into 3 batches. And you are conducting classes of 1.5 hours each. This depends basically on the timetable in your institute. Now, if you were to have a class of 1.5 hours each, ideally to cover syllabus, you may still have to give 2 hours worth of video. So this additional time has to come from the study time, which I think is okay because a lot of the in-class activity that you do is what students often do during their study time. So one thing again I will emphasize is the instructor contact hours still remain 3 hours, be it 1 plus 1 plus 1 in this model or 1.5 hours plus 1.5 hours in this model, where the instructor is dealing with multiple batches. Typically in study time, the students are expected to rewatch some of the videos or do more practice problems, refer to additional material and so on. I mentioned briefly earlier what happens in an in-class tutorial. Let's spend a little bit more time on this because this is the part where many people worry about what to do in a class, since the lecturing of the concepts is taken care of by the videos. This is typically what I do. There are others who have done many experiments here, but this is safe. I start my class with a 5 to 10 minute recap quiz. This is very important because this ensures that the students have watched the videos before coming to the in-class tutorial. If they didn't watch videos before coming, there is not much you can do in the class tutorial to engage them. It is very important they watch the videos before coming for the in-class tutorial, and the way to enforce it is to have a quiz that counts to some small percentage of the grade, let's say 5% or 10%. And this recap quiz you can do with a tool we have called SAFE, which we will cover later, or you can even use Google Forms. As I said, the idea here is not really to test the students, but to ensure that they have watched the videos. So this recap quiz is also a very simple quiz. You don't try to test difficult concepts. You just ask something very simple that comes across in the videos, which is more or less of the recall type. And after the quiz, I do a short summary of the video content. So whatever outclass video that they watched, I summarize it. This reinforces what they have learnt. And this is generally a good feature because the more times they are exposed to the material, the deeper it gets into their head. And following this, we have a discussion, clarification, question and answer. So some students, this can go hand in hand also. As you do a recap, there may be discussion, clarifications and question and answers. One other thing you can do to keep the class more engaging is you can ask students to submit questions one day before the class. This they can do through some Google form, and before your class you can go through all the questions that were asked and cover them in the particular class by prioritizing some important questions over others. And this also you can potentially give some small percentage of grade to this. That way students are motivated to submit questions. And you can also spend some time doing practice problems, typically 3-4 practice problems per class. You can cover. Again, if it's a simple problem, you can cover 4. If it's a difficult problem, you may be able to cover only 2. You give a bunch of problems for them to solve. As they are solving, you go around observing their work. You identify what mistakes they are making and go back to the board and explain more about why those mistakes are arising. Clarify the concepts once again so that everyone benefits, so that others also don't make those mistakes. So that is what happens in a tutorial. So given the structure, remember in scenario 1 is the case where physical classes can be conducted because students are on campus, but you want to maintain social distancing or physical distancing. Since you're dealing with only half or 1/3 class at a time, you can give sufficient space between students sitting in the class. So this is how flipped classes can help in the current COVID situation. In case your students are not on campus, they are still at their hometown and you still need to conduct online classes, this physical classes, which is the in-class tutorial that you're doing, you can then do via a live session via Google Meet or Zoom. So here, even if there are some disconnections in the thing, it is not such a big deal because they can join back because you're just making them do some practice problems or clarifying their questions. In scenario 2, this physical distancing or social distancing has no role to play. So you can potentially do the entire batch size. In other words, you make them watch 2 hours of video and give 1 hour for the entire class for question and answer discussions and so on. But note that if you do this, you are spending less time with students than mandated by the institute. Some institutes may not like it. Also, if the class size is large, even here, you may end up giving less personalized attention. We have covered most of this earlier also, but I will reiterate one last time. So what are the pros and cons of this flipped class model? It has more pros than cons. One pro is that it can maintain physical distancing because you're dealing with a smaller number of students at any given time in a in-class tutorial. You can give more personalized attention to students. That way you can handle large classes better. So flipped classes can also mean less load on teachers, especially once the videos are ready. By the way, there is no reason why you should create your own videos. If you can manage to get videos from other sources like NPTEL or other places, you can definitely reuse them. But if you want to create, first time it will be a lot of effort to create the videos. But once you do it, you can reuse them again and again every semester or every year. And all that instruction time, remember in traditional classes you have been lecturing something 3 hours every week. This is all now recorded in some sense. So you don't have to repeat it. You can spend the time in the tutorial trying to spend more time with your students, and thereby they will also benefit and will improve their performance. And if you make interesting and interactive videos, the whole class can participate. Remember again, in a traditional thing, when you ask a question, only 1 or 2 students will answer that question, whereas if you embed that question in an interactive video, the entire class gets to answer that question. So that is something which is very, very useful. Interactive videos are a lot less boring than just a dump of continuous monologue. And importantly, students can also watch many times. This handles the attendance issue. Earlier in traditional class, if you miss 1 or 2 lectures, things go over your head. Whereas here, you can always watch the video because it is available for you. If you don't understand it, you can watch it again. This all leads to better learning. There is of course one big con of flipped classes, which is no immediate feedback, which is both for students and teachers. Often as teachers, when you teach, you look at students' expression, whether they're understanding what you're saying. If they don't understand, you try to explain it in a different way. Similarly, if the student has a question, they will immediately raise their hand, ask you, and you reply. When you push everything to videos, if your videos are not very well done, there is a danger that questions keep nagging the student until they come to the in-class tutorial. They cannot clarify them. And you as a teacher also will miss the joy of seeing the delight on your student's face when you teach an important concept, or if they are having difficulty following a concept where you can re-explain. So this is a big drawback, no doubt, but it's a question of the trade-off between the advantages it gives versus the disadvantage. So this table contrasts the traditional model with the flipped model. In a traditional model, the class timings are fixed, the place is fixed, whereas in flipped model, it's flexible timings and place. In other words, the student can watch the videos whenever they want, be it 1 a.m. in the night or 3 a.m. in the night. That is when they're most active. Focus in traditional classrooms, you can still doze off. Flipped classes also, because you are on a machine with internet access, you may change your tab, watch some YouTube videos or go to Facebook and so on. So focus, one cannot tell, both can lack focus. Here you can only watch once when the teacher is delivering the lecture. Here you can watch many times. This is a big plus. The traditional model, the class is dictated by the instructor pace, whereas in flipped model, it is governed by the student pace. In other words, the student can decide the pace at which he is watching the videos. He can pause as many times, think through, re-watch some portion of the video and so on before proceeding. So he has a lot more control. In traditional model, you cannot really ask many questions in class, and that too only a few students will answer those questions, whereas here you can ask many questions by embedding them into the video, and every student gets to answer these questions. That way it is more fair. As mentioned, the biggest drawback of flipped classes is that there is no immediate feedback, whereas here you get immediate feedback. The question is, for learning, all the green ones are what are important for learning purpose. Finally, it is your comfort level, or if you're forced to adopt it because of a situation like COVID. One question many of you may have is, why not conduct live lectures via Google Meet or Zoom? Why go for this recorded video model with flipped classes? Often, many of our students who are accessing the lectures will have poor internet connections. Things will disconnect. If a student has poor internet connection, you are leaving behind that student. As teachers, you cannot do that. You have to take care of all the students in your class. In almost all the online live interactions I have had, the internet connections were unstable. There were some dropping, rejoining and so on. And these breaks can be very distracting. You cannot follow what is happening. You tend to tune out, which is again something which is not nice. And you have no idea whether the students are really listening to what you're saying. Whereas in flipped classes, because of the interactivity, them answering the questions shows that they are paying attention. So in contrast to this, if you do video recordings, you can maintain quality without any interruptions. It is more flexible because the student can download the entire video. There are no live streaming issues. You can download it, listen in peace. The teachers can reuse such videos later in the upcoming years, and students can also listen as many times as they want. And these interactive quizzes ensure that the student is engaged, and it shows that the students really are listening, which is a good feedback to the teacher. So that is it with respect to flipped classes. We have seen what are flipped classes, what advantages they provide. We have also seen how to conduct flipped classes. I showed you 2 models of flipped classes. Other combinations are also possible. Once you get the basic idea, you can customize the model based on your and your institute needs.